the rugby players are the heroes of the country. And on the one hand, that could be a positive thing because it unites New Zealanders behind something that we're a small country, so it's not like we're America and we can claim to have the biggest military or you know, China to have the best economy or, you know, the UK to have its all of these big states have something that they're known for. New Zealand is so small, and when we perform so well internationally at something like rugby,
the whole country comes together.
The whole country gets behind it, and you know,
love that.
So that is great. But on the other hand, I think that whole hero culture is also harmful because
you're always gonna keep people low, like in terms of like certain people trying to
rise
up and do their thing.
What it means is that it runs the risk of people becoming dicks.
Yeah.
That's to put it completely.
People becoming dicks. Like, that's crazy.
100%. Like, I mean, even, you know, if you're in the Super Rugby teams or you were the best rugby player at your high school, there is this worship kind of, oh, he's the man.
Yeah, he's the man.
Kind of mindset that I think if you are internalizing that as a young man can be really detrimental to how you develop as a good human being later in life.
Oh, you put it perfectly. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to visit New Zealand, like if you could quickly maybe like give us maybe some of the places that people can go to New Zealand and really, really get the vibe of the actual country.
Yeah.
To be this is New Zealand, you get me?
Yeah. I think that a lot of people go to Auckland and stay they go to the North Island.
Okay.
And they forget the South Island. Yeah. And the South Island is the most beautiful part of that country. I mean, you have the Southern Alps, you have these huge mountainous landscapes that, you know, that are just centuries old, and you know, you just have incredible forests, incredible bush, incredible rivers. Outdoors wise, you want to go to the South Island.
The South,
because you know, when you go hunting, you are exercising all day. You know, sometimes you go on 4 or 5 day trips. You know, and you, as I said, you're drinking when you need to drink. You're eating when your body needs fuel. You're walking around all day. You're sleeping when you need to sleep, and you are doing it the way human beings were meant to do it. Way back when human beings first evolved, we would hunt for our food, and there is something inherently grounding about that. Yeah. And when you eat it, you cook it up, and it's just the best thing in the world. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go down to the supermarket and buy a steak. You know what's gone into it. It's the same with farming. I think that you see what's gone into creating this produce for people to eat. And it is interesting because some people say, oh, does it put you off? Well, no, I think you see something a lot more organic and a lot more human about it when you see what goes into it. And you're like, okay, well, humans have been eating meat for as long as we existed.
It's true.
So, I mean, whether or not that needs to change, I'm probably not going to comment on, because that's another can of worms for another day.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that crazy question as well. Like, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. Gosh.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then you put it on your back and you carry it out, and then you take it to the butcher and get it made into beautiful meat, and you put that on the barbecue, and then that's, you know, feeding your family. And I think that.
Would you guys like to go hunting? Like. Yeah.
No.
Do you think you got it within you? Because me properly listening to Susanna,
I've gone to a farm, so I know.
Like me properly listening to like Susanna, you talking about it, you explaining it like this, I don't know where my mind is. I don't know if I'm excited about the thought of just listening to you, like obviously your experience, or the thought of like I would like to do it one day. I don't know. I just feel like it just sounds. I don't know if I'll do it though.
It's for us, and you know not to sort of take that for granted when you go hunting.
Yes.
When you go hunting, you are up so early. You will spend, you know, hours and hours climbing up huge hills huge like mountainous landscape.
How's the weather like? The weather?
The what?
The weather.
Oh yeah, you try and plan it, so it's good. But there's definitely bad weather. You know, it can be dangerous.
My mind is just gone like I'm going.
Yeah,
and
then you spot an animal. So
what kind of animals?
Like
is it
deer,
different ones?
Deer, generally for venison. Tahr, which is like a kind of huge mountain goat that came from the Himalayas and now only really exist in New Zealand. And then you spot the animal and you would spend, you would have to, because you have to get close enough to it to be able to, because you don't want to injure the animal. You don't want to shoot it in the gut because then that doesn't kill it. Yeah. So you want to kill it first go, and you'll spend maybe a couple of hours sometimes stalking this animal on your hands and like on your stomach, crawling through this grass, trying to get close enough to this animal, being quiet as quiet. And then when you are close enough that you know that you can shoot and kill, that's when you go for it. And then you go all the way down to the gully or wherever it is that you shot it. You gut it there. Sorry, vegans. You gut it. I
was gonna say something crazy as well, but I'll keep my mouth shut. Sorry, vegans. Yeah, we're sorry, man. Living. Maybe these guys might have discussion as well. Yeah, you know, like living on a farm. Obviously, like I could imagine as a child as well, growing up here. I could imagine that you've got like a connection with like animals and things like that. Like, are you a vegan or you still eat meat? You eat meat?
No farmer is a vegan. I don't know any. I don't know any farming based person who is a vegan. But I think I think what happens though when you grow up on a farm.
I fall in love with the chicken and be like, I'm so sorry I've been eating, I'm never gonna eat it again. You know, like to some degree.
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, but
I think what happens is, I mean, we grew up like going into the hills and hunting for meat, like venison, deer. Yes. So, my dad...
It's a very interesting take, man.
So my dad and my brothers, my dad is like a hunting guide. Yeah, and my brothers, they're incredible hunters, and I would get to go hunting.
You've hunted before as well,
yeah? Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're not vegan for sure.
Yeah, no. But I mean,
you don't love your meat.
Yeah. I think in that, but it's not just about that. It's so we're getting up at the crack of dawn to get up to the hill to. So
this is proper. This is proper. Sorry to even cut you, Susanna. So this is proper dedication. Like this is proper. Like
it's not. So many people think that meat just grows on shelves.
Yeah.
But when you grow up in a farm, and you see the work, the time. I mean, farmers. My dad and my mum worked 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Christmas Day, tending to your animals. Like there is no day off. We barely went on. It was a dream when we could go on a holiday because you can't leave your animals.
I can imagine.
So when you grow up seeing how much effort goes on to producing this food to feed the world, you appreciate it. I mean, but on the other hand, I mean, the New Zealand women's team winning the Rugby World Cup recently against England.
Oh, they won the World Cup.
And it was just the most exciting, incredible game to watch.
Yeah.
And then now this New Zealand women's team, which previously were completely underfunded, they are now entering into that hero territory, but for the right reasons. They were shown to be such great sports. They're smiling all the time. They're incredible advocates of issues that concern them and people in their community. Just they are really inspiring people, and not just inspiring for the sake of being a big unit who is able to get X amount of tackles in a rugby game. So they're more than the sport, and that is good.
Yeah. So obviously you grew up on a farm, right? And how was that like, man? I'm hating on you. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You grew up on. How is it like growing up on a farm, like with? You get me, like in nature on a farm. How was it? How was that like, honestly?
Well, once again,
we grew up in a concrete jungle, man. We don't know anything about that.
Once again, it's like I said. I feel like I kind of won at the lottery of life.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing that when I was a child, I possibly resented in some ways because I was so far away from everything. It wasn't like I could go, you know, it was like the biggest, most exciting thing, being able to like go to the dairy, or the dairy is like the corner shop.
Yeah.
You know, after school one time because mum was going to come and pick me up from school, so I had time to go to the corner shop with my friends. You know, that sort of thing was like, oh my goodness, it's so exciting. Because you're so far away from everything, and it's not like you could go and hang out with your friends. You know, you had to make friends with your siblings.